Hashtag no music, no intro. We are back. Good morning, Sunday morning. Saints Block Party podcast coming at you. Whew.
Boy, I've been working, huh?
Done, bro. Done. I'll just gotta wait to see what happens, bro.
So,
Gotta make a little Instagram post of all the work we put in this draft season, starting with the Senior Bowl, Combine, Big 12 Pro Day, Colorado NFL Showcase. I think in hindsight, probably, for next year, probably maybe not go to the Big 12 Pro Day, switch that out, go to the owners meeting instead. But, yeah, man, like, just thinking back where, we started this podcast, 5 years ago, us just having Tony Pauline on, and we just wanted to hear the scoops about the Saints. And now, in a weird way, we've kind of become a podcast where we're delivering the scoops. It's a weird fucking thing. It's a weird thing. But just got back from the Colorado Pro Day / NFL Showcase. Have the thing. Where did I have it over here? Oh yeah, you can see it. All the work been put in. So like, I'm gonna pull a John Hendricks and get all these framed. Oh yeah, I have them all. Senior Bowl,
oh baby,
all of them. So we want, this originally was supposed to be a Prospect of the Week episode, and this is going to be Patreon only. We're going to talk about James Pierce, who is in their cloud, but we got to talk about the story. We got to talk about the story. So let's start it off because
shit. Saints on the clock.
Hold on, before I forget, I told my uncle I'd do this shout out. My uncle went and got a haircut yesterday in Dallas. The person that cut his hair told him that he listens to this podcast. Ken at Corns Cuts in DeSoto, Texas. Shout out to Ken.
Get that corns cut, man. Get your fresh cut.
Get your fresh cut. Also, Ken,
hook me up, bro. Hook me up, man. What you can do?
But also, Ken, patreon.com / Saints Block Party. Just $1 a month. $1 a month, Ken.
Hey, man. Listen. Hold out here, bro. This economy.
Listen. I'll say, flying around all these places, bro. My credit card looking at me like, nigga, you need to take a break.
And look, man, props to you, bro. Like, I know you're doing it for the podcast, but look, Adam is taking it on himself to do a lot of these, pro day visits and stuff like that. We ain't got no budget. We ain't got no SBP budget to afford none of that. Trust me, that's out his own pocket. You know what I'm saying? Out his own, time away from his family, all that stuff. So just to, bring scoops to people because we love y'all and we want to know. It's not, we want to know. We want to get the scoops too. So props to you, bro, for just taking the ownership and going out there and doing it and, hustling for the credentials and, got to get on the knees for the credentials these days. Lord, it's like, man. But we're getting it and, it's only going to grow from here. Like, because it's investment. Oh. It's an investment that's going back into us and it's only going to grow from here.
And the way I see it, and shout out to Therese, 1999 super chat.
Oh, thank you, Therese.
He said, being a Patreon for a few years now. Y'all the coldest out here. I see and respect the grind.
Much love.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Because here's the thing, man. Once we get our foot in the door, once we're in the door, we want to break down the door. Yeah. Like we ain't going nowhere. Like we here to stay. Shit, we put our feet on the couch and grind our dirty boots in this.
They're gonna get used to seeing this little logo here. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna say what is that. They gonna
not
this
not
one.
that one.
This
Not that
the
one. The other polo.
this my at home polo. No,
If
no
you know, you
disrespect.
know.
If you know, you know.
Shout out to Josh Howard. I love to see Adam at all these media events. It was wild. I was watching the Dion presser last night because my uncle showed it to me, and you see my black dome like right there, like up front. And I was showing Jay last night, and I'm like, oh shit, like that's me, that's me. But let's get to. I don't want to. Josh said I point at the screen like Leo. Once upon a time, every time I see Adam, yeah, but let's get to the story of the weekend. Me asking Dion a question about Shedeur and me asking Dion a question about Shedeur and the possibility. And it's funny because I just wanted. I'm more of a football person. My questions were more specific of how, like, if Shedeur were to be drafted by the Saints, how does his traits and the good things that he do how does his traits translate to a Kellen Moore's offense? No one at the fucking Pro Day answered that question, but it led to something that's gone viral in Saints Twitter. So let's get to the clip if you haven't seen it, and we'll talk about it.
Coach, could you speak to the possibility of Shedeur being coached by Kellen Moore, who's coached Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, and recently?
Say it again.
Speak to the possibility of Shedeur being coached. Yes, sir.
The Saints?
Yes, sir.
I like the colors. I like the colors. I like the city. I like the food. I like the people. I like the possibilities.
Thank you.
So, how do I want to start with this and work with this? If you've listened to this podcast for months, Ryan and I have alluded to this, and not really without any scoops. This is just us watching football and being football, junkies, aficionados, sickos, draft aficionados, sickos. Like that's how me and Ryan bonded. That's how we got to know each other since 2012. Is everything about Shedeur as a player. Nothing about him screamed being a top 3 pick. Nothing. It didn't make sense. I'm sorry, it didn't. No matter how badly you needed a quarterback. And so this last week and a half, we've said it. Go back and listen to our episodes. We kept saying, man, Shedeur probably gonna beat her at 9. Oh, Shedeur probably gonna beat her at 9, bro. We've said it over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then there was this moment where this momentum kept building. Like, Shedeur to the Giants, Shedeur to the Giants, Shedeur to the Giants. Then the Giants signed Jameis Winston. And then a week later, or a week and a half later, they signed Russell Wilson. And then people were like, oh no, now they're in position. They can still add Shedeur to the room. And I said in our Discord, I was like, nah, it don't make sense.
Don't feel like a Shedeur Sanders room.
It doesn't. And then the first person that came out against it, Daniel Jeremiah, 40 in the free agency, he just kind of said, like, the Giants need to win. The Giants need to win, and they seem like they need a player that could come in and help them win more, and then potentially they add a quarterback later in the draft, like round 2 or whatever, right? So he said it. And then kind of like the bigger part of it is you had Adam Schefter on his podcast really kind of, I guess you could say, break the seal, right? Because people don't really start believing shit unless bigger people say it for whatever reason.
Right.
But I get it. Break the seal of saying the Giants, like, there's a lot of momentum that the Giants probably won't take Shedeur at 3. We don't know. We don't know. Don't know. But there's a lot of momentum building that potentially they go, and it really feels like if you talk about the top 3, Cam Ward to Tennessee, Travis Hunter to Cleveland at 2, and then that would probably leave Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3, potentially. Maybe they level offensive lineman, which would be really weird, but I would assume they just could say Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3. So if you have the Giants pass on Shedeur, the only other team that would make sense, or I guess 2 teams, would be the Raiders and the Jets. The Raiders just traded for Geno Smith and just paid him a 2-year contract extension. That would make no sense.
0.
And you have a coach in Pete Carroll who's on a 3-year deal who needs to win right now. It literally makes no sense. The only wild card really is the Jets, who have nothing coming out, which is a 180 from how they used to be prior to Aaron Glenn coming there.
None. No info coming out.
Like, I will give credit to the Jags and to the Jets because they are the hardest teams to read in terms of where they're going to go in the draft. I think the Jets could go O-line, they could go Tyler Warren, or they could go a defensive player. Yep. But they could be pulling how Jacksonville did, when they put Blake Bortles top 3. Maybe they love Shedeur. But it doesn't feel like it. Really feels like they want to give this Justin Field experience a thing. And Adam Schefter on that little podcast kept saying, like, the team that makes the most sense right now, if you just add it up together, for Shedeur is the Saints at 9. And if he doesn't go to 9, he's in a long draft night. And my sense, leaving Friday, hearing Dion, what he told me, and then he did a little hit with ESPN with Phil Yates and with Louis Riddick, is I feel like you have take the coach out of it. You have a dad that feels like and has a sense, and Dion knows these teams. He hears this shit better than we are.
Oh yeah.
He knows and has a sense that his son is probably not going to go top 3. And so he knows that the best chance for his son to get drafted top 10 at this moment is the Saints at 9. And if that's the case, then I don't want to say politicking, but it's kind of like this kind of outward thing of like, hey, those colors, love those colors.
He said it twice.
Twice on Friday.
That's a preordained thing, like it's something he planned to say, like, I like these colors. I'm sending that message out. I like these colors.
And Louis Riddick even was like, wink, wink, like,
yeah,
which tells you that they were talking even before that hit on ESPN about. So it really feels to me that Dion knows that the best chance for Shedeur to go top 10 is the Saints at 9. The Saints have invested a lot of time in these quarterbacks. I would say maybe more than any. I won't say not. I'll be careful how I say this. They probably invested as much time in quarterbacks in this draft class, maybe more than they probably ever have in any draft class. Like, it has been absolutely extensive.
Yeah.
Absolutely extensive. So it's really going to boil down to, and you look at the betting numbers. Look at the betting numbers. Betting numbers, the most likely team to draft Shedeur right now in the draft are the Saints.
Yeah. And that's Vegas. That's Vegas. Because it makes sense. Like, just throw all that out. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense for Shedeur to go top 3. And then once you look at the most quarterback needed team in that space, it's the Saints. Like, it just makes sense. It just, from a football standpoint, no sources needed. Then you add in all the just the fluff around it, with Deion Sanders' comments, going way back to the combine with the Saints cap on Shedeur Sanders' book sack. It's just been too much of the national media just throwing it out there. Like, oh, the Saints, they're just, Browns, Giants, Saints. Browns, Giants, Saints. That's all you kept hearing. So it just makes sense. And once you get past the Saints, boy, it's hard to find a fit. It's hard to find a fit. Because then you like, man, Minnesota, 49ers ain't going to go that route, not in the first round. Rams, nah, it's like you start struggling to find like a fit, So from Dion's standpoint, he want his son going top 10. He want his son drafted
Yes.
early. He don't want his son sitting there. I don't know if he's gonna be at the draft or not. I can't remember. I know it's very limited amount of players gonna be there. But
it's like 12, bruh.
yeah. And he seems like a guy that's gonna have his own big party somewhere.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, so he don't want his son sitting there, looking at the screen, just
Tumbling.
hoping I get a call. You know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be embarrassing for him. The most famous player in the draft right now. He's the second most player behind Travis Hunter, but he's like the most known player. You know what I'm saying? Dion don't want that for his son, man.
So on that Schefter hit, he essentially said the team that really seems like in the position that's makes the most sense for Shedeur as of right now is the Saints. But if the Saints don't, and I've heard this. Schefter said it. I heard this from my great friend / source, that if the Saints don't draft Shedeur at 9, the Steelers who pick at 21, Ryan. So as a dad, as a parent, I'm gonna put it out there to the team at 9, saying, "Come get my son."
Right.
Y'all like him, we like y'all. Which is funny because I don't really think Dion and if you gave him the truth serum, he probably really wouldn't want Shedeur to go to the Saints. But he would want his son to be drafted more top 10 than he would fall to 21. So here's the crazy thing. If we just be honest, we just being real, bro. Would it make more in a perfect world? Wouldn't you want Shedeur to go 21, throwing to potentially DK Metcalf and throwing to George Pickens and being coached by Mike Tomlin and having a competent defense rather than?
100%.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, bro. But you want that prestige. You want him to go as high as he possibly can. But also, I look at it too, man, do I want Shedeur playing outside in that Pittsburgh cold in January, bro?
And not to,
against the Ravens.
But and not to get too much into the Shedeur evaluation, but I guess if you wanted to look at his ceiling, I wouldn't even say his ceiling. If everything went perfectly and he became the player he could be times 100, you would hope he would be like a Joe Burrow. And I'm not even talking about the wins and all that stuff. Just mean that style of quarterback. You would hope that you're hoping that's what he becomes. But that's I can't even project that. Just from watching him, I can't. I can't realistically project. Okay, Joe Burrow was a absolute dog, but he played with NFL wide receivers. He was all that stuff. But still, I couldn't project that. But man, in the NFC North, I wonder what if the Steelers passed on him though?
I would be shocked, bro. That would shock me. I don't think they would pass on him.
You don't think so?
Yeah. Cordell Robertson said, "Bro, Ross Jackson believes that Dion said that so other teams can come up to get in front of the Saints to draft him." Your thoughts? Shedeur is not a player that he is not a player that people are gonna come up and trade for. I don't go. People say the Derek Carr line. Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape on Shedeur. For real. Seriously. Go watch the tape on Shedeur. Who? And this is not trying to. I'm trying not to be malicious about Shedeur, but if the let's just use the Steelers as an example. If they love Shedeur, and they know if they see Shedeur is tumbling on draft night, and they know that potentially that the Saints are going to draft him at 9, are they going to trade to? They're going to call up Carolina and call up Dan Morgan and try to trade from 21 to 8 to get in front of the Saints?
Ooh. It's costly.
Because people say trade in front of the Saints. Who are the teams that need quarterbacks? The Steelers? Who else?
I mean, if the cost was maybe low enough, how much did it cost for the Chiefs to move to 10 to get
It was
Mahomes.
like a second and a future first round.
Oh shit! See,
Yeah, like you can like someone's gonna get like the Steelers like it, it doesn't make sense. Someone says like the Jets is a wild card. They are a wild card, and it could be they could be just moving in silence. It would just it'd be interesting. What our dude Sherm asked a question, and this is the question that is like this. I think this theory is annoying me. So if Shedeur can fall, where the possibility is the Saints trading back, still picking up a quarterback while adding needed more picks in this draft? Why do not get cute when it comes to adding a quarterback to your team?
please. I know it seems like just the smartest thing to do, but it doesn't happen. Like it doesn't. If you have a quarterback you want, you don't trade back and be like, okay, I'm gonna get
No,
the quarterback. Like it just doesn't
no,
happen. You go get the quarterback. You just take him.
because the logic is like he shouldn't be falling to 9 to begin with. Like you're
Right.
lucky to get him at 9.
You
So
want
like
him so bad.
they were potentially thinking of trading to number 2 to draft him.
So like no, like I know like from a draft like an analysis standpoint, we love to just collect picks and trade down. One, the Saints don't trade down. They just don't don't do it. Like they don't do it. And you gotta have a trading partner. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have somebody. This is not just that type of draft. Outside of like the top 3 picks where people might want to trade up, this is not a draft where you're gonna see teams itching to trade up into this top 10. Like it's not that type of draft. You know what I'm saying? There's like 3 real blue chip top players, and outside of that, not much. You know what I'm saying?
So the way I look at it is that if they have Shedeur fall to them at 9, and let's say hypothetically he's the pick, then like, and you don't have to move a single pick to go get him. Then you have your full rest of picks in the draft. You have 40, you have 71. Like you can build the rest of the team however you want without you didn't have to move a single pick to do anything to get like
The
that's a
only way,
god's
only way it would make sense if the team that's trying to trade up is only a few spots back, and you have no teams within that stretch that need a quarterback. Like
I
absolutely
wouldn't
don't need a quarterback.
I don't
But
even
that's
I don't even trust
like
that because
I wouldn't even trust the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? Like
nope.
if the Cowboys come calling, yeah, it's only like what 2-3 spots back, but they might take Shedeur. If you want Shedeur, you gotta go take him.
Because they were talking about it in our Discord last night. The only way you might do it, is that if you're great on Shedeur and Jaxson Dart, are so close
Right,
that you are okay,
right.
that you're okay moving back like maybe 2 or 3 spots, picking up a pick, and if one of them goes, you're okay getting the other one.
Right. Right. Like say you have Dart as a graded as I mean Shadeur's graded as like a 6.5 and Dart as a 6.48. And it's like, either
Right.
one's there, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, we good with that. We talking about New Orleans Saints here, people. The New Orleans
Come on, bro.
Saints.
Come on.
What team move like that? Like with all that type of
None.
foresight and stuff?
None.
We talking about the
None.
Saints, y'all.
None.
Like let's
None.
remember. Let's remember
None.
who we talking about here.
None. So there's some comments in the chat. Just watch Shedeur Sanders be a bust. I'm just not feeling it from Jack Hunter. RG. I just don't want Shedeur. He doesn't pop on the film. You know what's funny? If you would have asked me this about 3 months ago, I felt the same way about Shedeur. I did. And then I watched him in depth for our Prospect of the Week episode. So go back and watch that. It is Patreon only. Ryan and I did a extremely thorough breakdown of Shedeur, his pros, his cons, and I came away thinking. I mean, you go back and watch the episode, but there's a there's a system and there's a system in the league where he could be very successful in the NFL. He could be extremely successful in the NFL. And also, like, it's time. Like, everyone's like, I think Josh in the chat just said it best. If Shedeur is the bust, at least they're willing to take their shot. They have to be willing to draft quarterbacks high. It's the Saints' fatal flaw. They got to get in the quarterback game.
Got to get in it. They've sat on the sideline for 50 years. For 50 years. Yeah, they lucked up with Drew Brees. Yeah, they lucked up with Aaron Brooks years ago. You know what I'm saying? If you want to call that luck or not. Like,
yeah, that was
I would
for sure.
call it luck. I would call it luck.
For sure.
You traded for a guy that was a backup on a Green Bay Packers, but they haven't drafted anybody, bro. They haven't drafted any quarterback in the top 2 rounds since 1971, man. Like, come on now. So just go get it. Like, Shedeur, like, I 100% agree with the eval. I don't watch any college football during the season. Heard about Shedeur Sanders for years. I peeked at a few games here and there, but not really focused on him. And when we first looked at him, November? It was like November, December. And I finally peeked at him. I was like, this it?
Right? Yes. Same, bro.
Like, this is it. Like, this is a second round type prospect, which is fine. Like, it's fine to be a second round, but I'm like, this is the hype this guy getting, And look, as we dig deeper, you see all the attributes of what could potentially be a very good, productive quarterback in the NFL. But still, even if you look at him with the rose-colored glasses, his comps are all late first, second round type people. You know what I'm
All
saying?
of them.
Teddy Bridgewater, Tua went early, so that's an outlier. But Andy Dalton, Jimmy Garoppolo, Geno Smith. Like all these like comps are like late first, second round types. But got to throw that out there. Every draft is different. Guys got to. He's not going that late. You know what I'm saying? But maybe. But if you want him, you're gonna have to take him early. You're gonna have to take him early as 9 if you want him. You know what I'm saying?
Simple as that.
And that's just the facts. Same goes with Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart, we could argue like, oh, he should be a second round, guy that goes in the second round or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you want him, you probably ain't gonna get him at 40. So you have to take him earlier. Do you take him as early as 9? We could argue about that all you want, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. That's how the draft is falling this year, bro.
You want to talk about something hilarious? The whole taking Jaxson Dart at 9. What did my friend tell me beginning of January?
Beginning of January, bro. I'll be a top 10 player.
So I'm seeing a lot of like no on Shedeur, not a fan of his, picking based on need again, groupthink. I'm sorry, Jack. It's the quarterback position. It's the quarterback position. This is not left tackle. This is not defensive end. It's literally the most important position in football, and the Saints have not gotten that position right since Drew Brees retired. They've not attempted to draft a quarterback in the first round since 50 years? 50 plus years?
1971, bro.
Like, they have, and
the first 2 rounds.
First 2 rounds, sorry. They tried to do it last year and then tried to trade up.
Always trying.
Tried to trade up for
about to.
They tried to trade up for Cam Robinson, for Cam Ward this year. Nope. So now they have a player potentially, and I keep saying potentially, that potentially is going to fall to their lap at 9 that they really like at quarterback. And I just have this thing like, listen, I understand the concerns about his tape, but I also think that people are underrating that. It's funny because I feel like both Shedeur Sanders and Jaxson Dart are really good fits for Kellen Moore's offense. Like I think both of them would fit his offense very well in very different type of ways.
Different ways, yeah.
Oh, RG just said is the Moore offense more geared for Dart or Shedeur? Ooh, that's a good question, RG.
You're projecting. Well, I would say this: like what Shedeur does today, like getting off the bus, translate to what we've seen Kellen Moore do.
Yes.
What Dart potentially can do, and what we've seen Kellen Moore coach up with, like Jalen Hurts,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen that too. And here's the thing: I talked about this on State of the Saints podcast. We still don't know what Kellen Moore
Kellen
is, like
Moore's
what is his, because even Kellen Moore talked about it at the owners meeting. Like in Dallas, he took some stuff from I forgot the head coach, the guy that was with them. He's on the Saints now. Linehan, is it Linehan?
oh
Took some
Scott
stuff from
Linehan.
yeah, he took some stuff from Linehan when he got there. Then he took some stuff from Mike McCarthy. Um, a lot of the lingo they still use. Then he went to the Chargers. They carried some of the previous offense from the Chargers into his offense. Then he went to Eagles. They kept a lot of the same linguistics, a lot of the concepts, and integrated that into more. So like Moore's offense is kind of like just a mishmash of all type of things. We don't know what and his quarterbacks have ranged from Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, to Jalen Hurts, all guys who were already in place. So we
Right.
really don't know what his guy is. We just
I
project
know.
him.
That's the fascinating part of it.
That's the real fascinating. Who does he love? Like who when he's sitting down in this room 10 o'clock at night looking at tape, is he looking at Dart like, ooh,
That's the question, bro. I don't.
I don't know.
Who would you? All right, I'll ask you this. Take Cam Ward out of it because I think that would be
Yeah, that would easily.
between Dart and Shedeur. If
Who gets
Kellen
his
Moore
blood pumping?
door closed, close the door, turn the light on. He putting tape on. He got the lotion right next to him. Who is he watching? He got the Derek Carr picture right there, just throwing darts at it. No pun intended. Just
Darts.
who is he watching? Who would you guess he's watching?
You know what? Just thinking how coaches think, I think he would. I think Dart would get his blood pumping a little more because man, this is
Yes.
some clay right here. I could mold
Yeah.
this. Ooh, and that athleticism.
Yes.
That's the thing about Sanders. Sanders just doesn't have any like athletic or on the field trait that really pops off to you. Like if you're a football junkie, you could watch him and be impressed. Like there's a lot of things that impress me about the way he plays, but none of it's like sexy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like none of it's
Yes.
like you could pull up some snaps and throws and some runs by Dart. You'd be like, ooh, I could do something with that. Whereas with Sanders, it's more like he's a point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a point guard. He's going to distribute the ball, which will ultimately get you a lot of success in the NFL if you do it at a high level. You know what I'm saying? But then you can look at it on the flip side, like man, NFL, if they go look at the playoffs that just happened, JD5, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, athletes, bro. He's athletes, bro. Even Burrow, you talk about Burrow. Burrow was a good athlete. Like Justin Herbert, all these athletes, bro. At quarterback, like it's
Quarterback,
just
bro.
like, if you got a chance to get one of them athletes and something you can mold, do you lean
Think
towards Dart?
a little underrated part too is someone you left out. Bo Nix. Like
Bo Nix an athlete, boy. Like people just got it twisted. At Auburn, he was horrible. Then at Oregon, it was like a little real pop and shoot offense. Pew pew. If that boy was a athlete, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's another thing about Shedeur. It's interesting where the league sees the point guard distributor quarterback in 2025. Where do they see
to me that's like that is Bryce Young.
Right.
Right. And
he went number one overall.
But he went number overall because he played at Alabama. He had a shit ton of weapons. He had an offensive line that blocked it. But I will say, like, he still had more twitch to him as an athlete.
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
Anyway, let's take a little break because someone asked a question because there's a lot of questions in the chat, but someone asked a question that I think I wanted us to get to. But what it really kind of boils down to is someone said my guy dressed like Bret the Hitman Hart. I mean, I take that as a compliment because Bret the Hitman Hart is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But I'm supporting one of my favorite podcasts. It was basically okay. Here it is. Cardell Robinson. Just curious if Graham, meaning Mason Graham, and Shedeur somehow fell to 9. Who do you take?
You want to go to break?
We're gonna go to break. Go to break. We'll be back after the break.
Let's go. With Underdog, there's finally a way to make picks on sports without leaving the house. The game is in your hands. Millions of fans have already run billions making picks on Underdog. There's an app with over 100,000 5-star reviews and millions of players. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at St. Louis Cardinals versus Boston Red Sox and picking Jarren Duran for higher than 1 home run. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using promo code BLOCKPARTY to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code BLOCKPARTY. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus credits instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 years or older, 19 or older in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 or older in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Void where prohibited. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call 24/7 Hope line at 1778 Hope NY or text Hope NY.
We are back. So shout out to Cardell for that question because that's actually like a segment I wanted to talk about on the podcast. Before we get into it, I wanted to play the other video of me asking Shedeur Sanders like how his traits would translate into a Kellen Moore offense, and then we'll get into the question.
Hey, Shedeur, you talked about the situation being important for you for where you go in the draft. How would you say your traits would fit into like a Kellen Moore offense where he's coached quarterbacks like Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, and recently Jalen Hurts? And
I think he's a great coach, and I also think I watched him a little bit in college. So we're so young. Like I didn't know that was that. So I know that's who he was in college. But then when I looked him up and did the research and all that, I'm like, dang, like he did everything I'm trying to accomplish. And like, so he knows the recipe, and a lot of people that play the position understand, that point of view versus just a different point of view versus like the sky or the sideline.
All right.
Did he mean he watched Kellen Moore tape? What is it?
He wasn't born when Kellen Moore played in college, but
I know.
But so he I'm guessing he means that he watched Kellen Moore tape when he was in college. And that's one thing I will say about Shedeur as a player. Like he's a very studious player of the game.
Yeah.
The anti Tetsuo McMillan.
Bro, like I mean, you go there's so much content on Shedeur out there, like going back a decade, bro. Like Dion had them boys watching tape as middle schoolers, breaking down cover 3 defenses and shit. Like it's like the dude just grew up in football. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's a positive. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a positive trait that, this is a kid that really grew up around football. So it's nothing, it's part of him. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's very much a part of him. That's a great thing, and he built himself up into being a productive quarterback. He literally built himself into being that.
Can I just say? Let me just say something. Jack, your pessimism and your complete anti-Shedeur thing, tirade's getting a little old in the chat. Like, we get it, bro. We get it. You're not a Shedeur fan.
Damn,
you can,
bro, calm down. Shit.
like, it's not that serious. Like, it really isn't. So
Your girl or something? Damn.
What's Kevin? What has Kevin been saying, bro? We're getting drafted by the Saints. We're getting all the hoes.
Milk.
So I want to go back to the question though, because I was thinking this leading up to this podcast. Shedeur's at 9, but Mason Graham is there at 9. Shedeur's at 9, but Jalen Walker's there at 9. Let's say they're both there at 9. Mason Graham and Jalen Walker and Shedeur. Let's say all three's there. Someone in the chat said, which I found laughable, because I was like, if that's so easy, why haven't the Saints did it? Someone said, oh, it's easy. You can find, someone said, like, it's easy to find an elite defensive tackle. You can just, it's easier to find a stud defensive tackle versus a franchise quarterback. Give me Shedeur. And in theory, that's kind of true. That's kind of true. I get it. But like in this draft, so question is, Mason Graham. If you watch our Prospect of the Week episodes, we've been putting our clouds up after each episode.
Top of the cloud.
Top of the cloud. Mason Graham for us is the second player in our cloud. The only player that's on top of him is Cam Ward. That's the only player on top of our cloud. It's Cam Ward.
Do you stick to your cloud? Is your cloud your cloud? You know? Do you stick to it? Ooh. God damn, it's tough, bro. It's tough.
Because Mason, and the thing that I noticed about Mason is that he's visiting almost every team in the top 10, which means that him and his agent feels that his draft range, his draft range is volatile. And DJ called it on the presser, bruh. Yep. And I've been feeling it, bruh. I was like, if he gets past Jacksonville at 5, it's hard to find a Mason Graham team.
Which is crazy. And he'll just be another one of the defensive tackles that go, 10th or 11th. And it's like, how the teams pass up on this guy? Here we go again. Who would I take? It's really a hard decision, bro. It's really a hard decision. Because Mason Graham is clearing to cut a better prospect.
This is not even close. It is not even close.
But it's quarterback versus defensive tackle. That's not close either. It's not close.
I know what my plan would be, but I want to hear your plan first.
Man, you know what? I mean, me personally, this is not what the Saints would do. Me personally, I'm taking Mason Graham and then spinning the block in the second round. I know people be mad, but I'm going to get Jalen Miro. That's how I'm rolling. Okay, maybe Dart falls. I don't think he will, but maybe Dart falls. It would be Dart in the second round. Maybe I would try to trade up in the second round, not into the first, but at the top of the second round to get Dart, if he would be there. Like I said, don't think he'd be there. I don't think he makes it out the first round. But ultimately, I would take Miro and pass on Shedeur. I know Saints Twitter would be furious of passing up Shedeur. But it is what it is, man. It's just, he's not a can't miss prospect for being a quarterback.
He's not.
Shedeur. He's just not. I'm okay missing out on him. I'm okay. Maybe he becomes Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, and I feel terrible about it, damn, I missed out. But I'm betting that he doesn't. And I'll be okay. Okay, we missed out on Shedeur, and he becomes Tua. You know what I'm saying? It's that's great. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
we'll take another stab at it later.
Which is funny because if he becomes Tua, the Dolphins is one of those teams where I feel like if you gave them true serum, if they could upgrade the quarterback position on Tua, they probably. I would do it very similarly, bro. I wouldn't pass on Mason Graham. I would run to the podium here's the card. Like take it before someone realizes that they messed up. I'm taking Mason Graham. I would do it differently though. I would do it differently, and this is probably because I have a little more affinity for Jaxson Dart. I know that the Saints were tweaking to give up a fucking future first round pick to move up for Cam.
Are you giving up a first, move back into the first?
I would call up Cincinnati at 17 or the Cardinals. Hey,
A 2026 first for Dart.
Sure would.
My chest. My chest.
Sure would.
Oh Lord, my chest, Lord.
I would have to see like what it would cost because here's the teams that are the dark teams that I know of. Seattle at 18 and potentially the Rams at 26. So if he gets past Seattle, which he might get past Seattle, then I would feel a little more comfortable because then you really potentially would have to get in front of the Rams. I'm looking at the tankathon. So then I would then maybe be calling up Minnesota and calling up the Texans. Because then you might not need to give up a 2026 first round pick. Maybe you could give up 40 and some change.
Yeah.
And then move up. Then moving up. And because then you have your stud defensive tackle at 9 and your potential quarterback of the future in the late first too. And you in the late first round on the 5th-year option too. And you're getting him in, you're making sure that he doesn't get to because I'm telling you right now, if he gets drafted at 26 by the fucking Rams, nah, bro.
It would make too much sense too. Would make so much sense. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting scenario. And honestly, it's a scenario I could see on the board. You know, come draft.
Cole said I'd do 40 plus next year's second because that's about even on the draft. Yeah. Yep.
If they're taking.
Cordell said I'd take Graham back in the first, back at 9, and then trade in front of Pittsburgh and draft. Yeah, but at that point, I would wonder if Shedeur is falling that much, if the Steelers would be like, hey, we got to go up and get him and not risk it as well.
I mean, just to me, like if you don't take Shedeur at 9, mentally you got to be making a decision. Like I'm good on him. Like yes. I'm good. You know, I'm good on him and kind of good on Dart. Yeah, you could try to come get Dart later, but mentally you got to be like, I'm taking a defensive tackle over the quarterback spot. You know, and then figure it out later.
Here's an added element. We have 79 concurrent viewers in the chat right now. We appreciate y'all. Here's an added element that I do feel like adds like more pressure in this situation. Like, let's not forget that like the starting quarterback of the Saints still wants to be traded and doesn't want to play for New Orleans anymore.
Hello.
Like, do y'all not think that plays like on draft night? Do you not think that plays a huge factor into things?
Huge, bro. Huge, man. Like, how can it not? Like, everybody just kind of tiptoeing around it, but it's like that's a like if this was the New York Jets or something, like that would be a huge story right now. Huge story, bro. You know, he out at Fresno at spring practice shit. Him and his bro just la. Like, come on, man. And what's funny is I try to think like, man, it's hard for me to envision that locker room with Shedeur and Carr. Like Shedeur, because Shedeur, he got the entourage, he got his team with him. He's a presence. With Carr there, like a Dart, I could see it. Dart gonna be like he gonna play his role. You know what I'm saying? And
yes, he would for sure.
And I'm not saying that Shedeur wouldn't either. Like Shedeur's gonna do whatever he's supposed to do, but I could just see it being. I don't think Carr would be able to stand. Like it's more about Carr. I don't think Carr would be able to stand Shedeur and his
Star presence.
star presence. He's the star. And in New Orleans, bruh, like he wouldn't be able to make it out of training camp, bruh. Carr, as soon as he throw a interception in training camp, bruh, it's over. It's over, bruh. Over. Like he would demand out of it. Carr would demand out of here, bruh. He might give some of that money back. Just get me out of here.
Booker R said, "I don't believe that Kellen Moore will pass on a quarterback for defensive tackle." I think people got to realize, like I keep saying, like there have been glimmers that Kellen Moore has like pounded the table for certain things, like the Justin Reed signing was something that Kellen Moore's pounded the table for. But like I was at the combine. Almost every coach, GM that I talked to that has worked with Kellen Moore. I talked to Howie Roseman. I talked to Nick Sirianni, who's the head coach of the Commanders. Dan Quinn.
Yeah, Quinn.
They all brought up the same thing. Collaborates. He's a collaborator. Now, yes, he takes the best, blah, blah, blah. So maybe he pounds the table for what he wants on draft night. But what's probably going to happen is that he's going to collaborate with Jeff Ireland and the scouts. And I think the bigger question on draft night is how much Mickey Loomis has say in this draft. That's the bigger question. It's not really, to me, it's not really about Kellen Moore. It's about Mickey Loomis. Because Mickey Loomis had a lot to say 2023. A lot to say 2023 draft. And we know how, like, he pretty much unequivocally made almost every pick in 2023. I mean, we know how that draft class went. One of the worst Saints draft classes of all time. If not the worst. I mean, in the last 20 years, one of the worst draft classes of all time. 2024, it feels like they realized a lot of error of their ways, and they really gave a lot of power back to Jeff Ireland. So it seems like Jeff Ireland almost made every draft pick last year. So my question going into this draft class is, how much say does Mickey Loomis have in the draft making selections? How much power Jeff Ireland have? And then does Kellen have the power and the balls if that there's a player that he loves and if he's pounding the table for, how much voice does he have in the room?
Huge question, bro. Huge question. Like the Mason Graham thing, that was what I would do. Don't know what Kellen Moore would do in that situation. Don't know what Mickey Loomis would do. I mean, we can only judge what Mickey Loomis has done so far, and Mickey Loomis has pretty much trying to make 2025 the season. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get the most out of 2025. So I would think he would probably avoid the quarterback. But there's obviously a strong contingent in the Saints building that want a quarterback. That like want a quarterback. Early. So who wins out? You know what I'm saying? Who wins out? Does Mickey come in and put the kibosh on that? Like, no, we're not taking a quarterback.
Which, because if you go back to last year, they were really trying to trade up for Michael Penix, which to me that shows that even though he wasn't involved in the selection, he had to be okay because he has to making the move up.
Yeah.
So that collaboration. So it's it. We'll see, man. Someone asked. Oh, I missed the question. Jack talking about Mickey Loomis rubbing his hand together to draft Mike Green at 9. It'd be James Pierce Jr. if anyone. It was Ben asked a great question. Here it is. Sorry. Thoughts on Kellen not being at the pro day versus being at darts, trying to not show their cards with being interested or not as interested, period. It's a big thing that's like going around. I would just say I wouldn't look too much into it. Part of me wonders, I mean, Jeff Ireland was part of the whole contingent, right? It was Jeff Ireland. Well, he wasn't there, but when Sean Payton and Pete Carmichael flew to Lubbock, Texas, from New Orleans to Lubbock, Texas, and did a private workout, Patrick Mahomes on Texas Tech, that story came out. Like I remember that day very vividly because Underhill had texted me and he was like, "Hey, did Sean fly to Lubbock?" And I was like he wanted me to like confirm it, like with my sources. Sean had flew to Lubbock, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know." And then like it gets confirmed, and then Mike Triplett, who worked at ESPN at the time, puts a story out that Sean and Pete Carmichael flew to Lubbock. And I promise you, if you go back in time, if that story never comes out, Patrick Mahomes is a saint. I promise you. Promise
Damn
you.
you, Mike Triplett.
I would bet my yearly salary if that story does not come out that Sean and Pete flew to Lubbock and did a private workout with Mahomes on Texas Tech campus. I would guarantee you that Mahomes is a saint because I promise you, Andy saw that. Andy saw like, oh, Sean saw him throw and he saw what I saw. Oh, I gotta get in front of him because I already know what this nigga's thinking. Oh no. Anyway, that's. But Jeff Ireland also, it was in that process. Jeff Ireland also was in that draft evaluation of evaluating Patrick Mahomes. So this is not any inside information, but I do wonder if maybe they're trying to like be like, all right, maybe we just pull it back a little bit. But it's interesting because like a week and a half ago, like the whole contingent was there at Jaxson Dart's pro day. Like the whole
group, bro.
Kellen, Doug Nussmeier, like everybody was there.
I don't know. It could be. I don't know. I really don't know what it means. They had Scott Tolzien there, the quarterback coach. Somebody else was there at the Colorado Pro Day. I don't know. They could be done with the evaluation on Shedeur. They could be like, look, we good. Like we know.
To be fair, he has tons of fucking tape.
Oh my god! Like he's so much tape out there. It's like, how much do you need to see?
Like what is him throwing against air really gonna? Oh, I feel like I should maybe talk about the Colorado Pro Day.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
So I didn't get a lot of. I wasn't really focused on trying to get a lot of content from like the throwing session. I wanted to actually like see him like throw and like evaluate him. Inside the numbers, intermediate, like super accurate. There's a couple of deep balls that some of I think he had like 3 that kind of like just fluttered and just died, but then he had some other shots down the field right on the money. Great deep balls. I think if you want to look at Shedeur positively, think of Geno Smith is now, not how he came in the league. Think of like Geno Smith now, but think of like you're getting him like Geno Smith now coming into the league, not with like maybe less mobility, right? Like the processing, the accuracy, that's really who he kind of reminds me of. And like Geno Smith now, if you're getting that as a rookie coming in, like that's a talented quarterback. Like you can win with that. You can absolutely win with that. The thing that like everyone was saying this about the pro day, and you could see it, is that whip, even in that even the throws between the lines, even in the throws the intermediate, like he doesn't have that like that whip that you want to see.
You don't feel it on the air, like
yes, you just don't.
He's a touch scorer,
which you can still win with. Thought that Will Shepard had a great fucking day. And fucking after the fucking pro day, Sean Payton was just talking to that nigga. This nigga, Will Shepard, wide receiver, Colorado, jumps a 40.5-inch vertical. And I posted a video on it on Twitter and put it in our Discord. Just everything he did and the athletic drills just looked effortless, like effortless, bruh. Just an athlete. 6'4" or 6'3.5", 50-50, big receiver. Sean Payton was out there chatting him up. I was like, this nigga right here. I'm about to tell this nigga a piece of my goddamn mind. This nigga, this nigga want to talk to receivers. This nigga had it with Marquez Callaway, and now this nigga want to talk to
Who is this guy? Who are these guys?
Bro, I watched that clip and I was like, who is Johnson kicking fucking this field goal? Johnson? Who the fuck is Johnson? I had no idea who Johnson was, Ryan.
I forgot, bro.
But I was watching that clip and I was like, man, this guy's a fucking coach, bro. This guy's a fucking coach, bro.
Ridiculous,
coach.
Man. And look, Coach Keat was there too.
He was.
The wide receiver coach for the Saints. So, I mean, look, then Colorado got some guys, like late round guys, Horn and Shepard.
I like Horn.
I do like Horn too. So they obviously Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter worked out as a wide receiver at the pro day.
Oh my God, Ryan!
Different, bro. It's different. I was watching the video. You saw it in person. Different, bro.
Nigga, you don't. Cardell said, "Hey Adam, when you became I'm originally from Texas. NJP has Island drafted a quarterback high. Was he a part of that Dolphins team that drafted Pat White in the second round? I know that was more of a.
So
I think that was a Parcells pick, 100% though. But was he part of that staff? I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
What? Someone said he's not gonna last till 9. Oh, okay, buddy. I can't really put into words what was like being on the sideline watching Travis Hunter run routes. Like the way he moved, like you felt it. Like I was on the sideline and you felt it. To the point like he just made like an in-breaking route. And I literally let out on the sideline, bro. And then there was someone, a black dude next to me who also shooting content who like works for the University of Colorado. And he was like, oh, and he's like, oh yeah, Travis? He's like, yeah, Travis is different. And he said, we've seen it these last 2 years and we take it for granted. Like we've gotten used to it. Like we take it for granted. Like we just got accustomed to it. But like he's like, yeah, he's different. I can't put into words. And I was, texting Matt Harmon. Shout out Matt Harmon, Reception Perception. We're gonna get him on the pod next couple of weeks. And he put it in his profile, and he texted me. He said he compared his movement skills to prime Odell Beckham, bro, and it makes complete sense.
It does, man. Different, bro. Just move. Some people just move different. That's why I'm banging the table on why none of this. Oh, we can make 2 or 3 package plays. No, play this man at wide receiver, bro. Put him at wide receiver, bro.
I don't know. I don't know, man. Make him a mercenary, bro.
I don't know, man. Don't know. Week to week, whatever you want to do it. Shit.
Just make him a mercenary. So, I mean, it was there was a lot of people there, man. Saints legend Champ Bailey was there. It was literally a who's who was at the event for sure. But it was cool to get to experience it and be a part of it. So I'll ask you this. Someone said that Jeff Ireland took Garrett Grayson in round 3 of 2015. That was more of a Sean pick.
Yeah.
That
was Jeff Ireland's first year with the team, man.
Yeah. That was more of a Sean pick. So we're wrapping this up. I'll ask you this as we wrap this up. If Shedeur is on the board at 9, as of right now, I don't know why that timed out. Sorry, our live stream timed. Okay, we're back. If Shedeur is on the board at 9, do you think that he's a New Orleans Saint?
Yeah. No question. But I go back and forth for that sometimes just because, like I said, the Saints haven't taken a quarterback in my lifetime, bro. So I'm still like, I got to see it to believe it. But I do think I've seen enough smoke, enough to what the Saints are doing right now in this draft process that if he's there at 9, they're going to make the move. You look at the totality of everything, where the Saints are right now as far as like the Derek Carr contract, him not wanting to be there. It just makes sense. It just makes sense that they'll take him. If he's there or not. If he's there or not.
It's funny too because my last thing, kind of wrapping this up, the PR, like Mickey has made a lot of fucking dumb moves, bro. A lot of fucking dumb moves. The PR of how this could like actually work out for him, of him wanting to bring back Derek Carr, him restructuring the contract to bring him back, but also to be active in free agency. Derek Carr wanting to be traded, not wanting to play for the Saints. You having one of the top quarterback prospects in the class fall to you at 9. You drafting that quarterback prospect, and then you being able to get rid of Derek Carr, but also in doing so, you got to use his contract to be active in free agency, and then you got to keep your picks to then have a full draft. To like, do you know like how like great in theory all this shit could have like worked out for you when like just looked into it without like it was not the plan, by the way. That
No.
was not the fucking plan.
Hell no. Hell no.
I'll say this. I hope Shedeur a pick at 9. I'm completely happy if Jaxson Dart's a pick at 9 as well. But we do know if Shedeur a pick at 9, the race war will be even intensified in New Orleans.
Man, WWL gonna be. I don't like the way he just walks up in there, just got a little walk about it. He just looked like he's too sure of himself.
Bro, there is something about Shedeur. I get it. Bro.
Oh, I get it. Like he has a very much like this nonchalant, like I'm that nigga.
He does it. Like even Jay says like there's something about him that gives her the ick. But like, man, he came to the podium. I probably shouldn't end on this, but probably no one's listening to this part of the podcast anyway. He came to the podium, and Colorado had 3 players talk to the media before, and he goes, "Oh, I know y'all been waiting for me this entire time." But then he like made a weird joke about it, and it's like, nigga, oh my god. Anyway.
That's Deion Sanders' son, man. That's all I
exactly.
Like that's Deion Sanders' son.
Exactly.
You gonna like as a franchise, you gotta be ready to buy into that. That's a part of the equation too.
It's weird because Sean Payton spoke at length with Shedeur after his media thing. It's a weird thing to say. I would feel a lot more comfortable if
I know exactly where you're going.
If Sean Payton was the head coach of this team with Shedeur quarterback.
Sean would 100% know how to handle somebody like Shedeur. Sean love that type of shit. That's Sean cut from that same type of cloth, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But Kellen Moore, teeth close.
I have no idea, bro. No idea. Him coming in the fucking room all swaggy and shit, and Kellen Moore just like
got his little notepad. It's gonna be interesting, bro. I can't wait to draft these, man. Just get here. Oh my god.
Please. Anyway, we will be back on would the Saints pick Will Campbell over Shedeur? I hope not. I would not. That would cause a TV to get broken.
Now, Dart. What if they pick Dart over Shedeur, like both on their board? Oh man, like no, bro. Like seriously, there would be like a problem in New Orleans, bro. Like
Oh yes.
I think some shit get burned down. I think the mayor's gonna make a statement about. I think it's gonna get bad, bro.
You think the mayor will make a statement of
The
that?
mayor gonna make a statement, like something gonna go wrong, bro. Oh man.
Oh, I would have to. I won't have my black paint ready at the drop party, bro. And just have that. Just kidding, just joke. Anyway, we're gonna have fun regardless.
Yeah.
Period. It's gonna be fun regardless. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Our plan is to be back on Thursday, having Tony Pauline on for our annual. Dante said Ash. Our annual episode. We'll confirm it on Tuesday if it is going to happen on Thursday or not. So we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all hopping on early this morning. But we'll see what happens. We're a couple of weeks away from the draft, so we'll see what happens on draft night. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And with that, we are out.
Peace.